Now that's freaking bright. All up in the trees and everything. Ah! What's happening, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. So this video is brought to you by one of my sponsors, new sponsor, Nilight Lighting. You guys probably seen them on Amazon before. They make a whole different array of lights, but I was more interested in this bad boy right here, this light bar. This is a 240 watt 42 inch curved light bar. I didn't even pull off the plastic yet, but I'm gonna leave that for last, just due to the fact that just in case, you know what I mean, anything hits the face or anything, I don't want to get scratched. But anyway, what I really like about this light bar, it comes with everything that you need for the installation. A lot of companies have light bars, but they don't have any wiring harnesses or extra fuses or anything else that comes with it. So you would have to get all of this stuff separately. And let's talk about this real quick. They actually made this thing like a ready-made cake for you. You just got to connect everything. And see this diagram right here? I put this together on a piece of paper so I can show you. And they actually, in this wiring harness, you have your fuse, your relay, and they hook you up already with a toggle switch. And this switch is cool because it actually lights up. You can wire it to light up, stay on, lit, or light up only when you flick it on. So I'll show you that at the end. They also give you some really good directions as far as hookup, and even on the back, jumping the switch at the end, depending on what type of lighting options you need. So the light bar, you know, I mean, as far as packaging goes, it was packaged really well. And obviously it's from Amazon, so it came pretty quick. Guys, what I wanted to talk to you about was when you're operating a light bar with respect to relays. This is the makeup of the relay right here. If you notice, you have pins on the relay and you have a diagram on the relay showing, you know, pin 85, 86, 30, 87. And why do you really need a relay? Relays function where you could turn on and off a circuit, okay, that draws a high amount of current, okay, or a high amount of load, and you could turn it on and off with a smaller one. So what we're doing is we have a really small load on this switch right here, and that will in turn trigger the electromagnet on this relay, close the circuit, and function the light bar, so to speak. And because under normal conditions, something this powerful, you'll probably be blowing out a lot of fuses and stuff like that if you don't use a relay, okay? Because this is 240 watts. That's a lot of power, okay? So just be aware of that. So normally, let's say you had this light bar and you bought your own fuse. Like let's say this portion right here was unplugged. I'll show you. If this portion was unplugged like this, what you would have to do is you would have to make up all your own wires for this relay. See how I have it right here? There's 30, 86, 30, 86, 85, and 87. So 30 right here, as you see right here from this diagram, is coming straight from the battery with a fuse, okay? That's the fuse that they give you here. So this portion right here is coming from the battery with the fuse, okay? Then pin 87, because 30 goes with 87, 87, that would be connected to the positive pole from the light bar. So I would have to put a pin over here and a wire, okay, with a sleeve, connect this portion here to the positive of my light bar, and then I would have to ground this somewhere, okay? Then 86, that I would tap that into a fuse under the hood, okay, which is connected to this switch, which is gonna go to this pin over here, 86, and then this pin over here, I'd have to connect it to a ground. But what they did was they packaged this up so nicely for you. They did all the freaking legwork for you. You get what I'm saying? That's freaking cool, man. You guys don't understand how valuable that is. So now all you got to do, literally all you got to do now, you hook this pin up to the battery right here, this one up to the ground, that's up to the positive, right? And you take this from the light bar right here and hook it up to these two terminals right here, and that's really it. And you're literally calling it a day. It's freaking phenomenal the way they did it. They did all the legwork for you, so you don't have to draw this out and memorize anything. Or I just wanted to show you this so you understand how it works. Guys, the cool thing about this, as I said, they do all the heavy legwork for you, because normally if you had to get your own harness, depending on where you're connecting this light bar, you would have to check if there's any voltage drop over time. So for instance, I think this is what? The harness is about 12 feet. So let me explain what I mean. In here, there's a 25 amp fuse. Okay, now they give you extra fuses. Now, guys, it's up to you to do your own calculations. So under normal circumstances, if you want to understand what type of fuse you need to run, you need to know the wattage this thing pulls. So this is a 240 watt light bar, okay? You take that and divide it by the voltage in order to get the amperage. So normally, when this truck starts up, it's about 14.5 to 14.6 volts, okay? Normal car, let's say after, you know, the cold start and the idle comes down, you know, you're in the heat or whatever, let's say it's 13.5 volts. Let's call that normal. So you take 240, divide it by 13.5, 240 divided by 13.5, you get about 17.7 amps, okay? And you know, fuses go in increments of like 2.5, like you have, that's why you have 2.5, 5, you get what I'm saying? 7.5, 10 amps, and so forth. So if we get 17.7 amps and we round it up, this will comfortably take a 20 amp fuse. And in here, they give you a 15, a 10, and a 20. So they give you that yellow fuse right there, a yellow greenish fuse, that's a 20 amp fuse. And that'll be more than sufficient in here. Now, if you put a fuse that's too small in any circuit, it's gonna keep popping the fuse. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that. If you put a fuse that's too big, you can burn up your wires. You get what I'm saying? That's why you wanna accurately know what's the output of your light bar, how much feet of cord that you're running, and guess what? A 20 amp fuse, 14 gauge wire can comfortably handle 20 amps over around 20 feet. So I'll even put up a wiring chart diagram in the link in the description, so at least you guys can see it. But these are all important things that you need to know. You get what I'm saying? So I'll be swapping out that 25 amp fuse for the 20. As far as tools, guys, these are my own brackets and stuff that I have. I have like step bits, things like that. So anything that we need, we'll talk about it as we go on. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start mounting these sides to the light bar, because that's what we're gonna be attaching it to behind the truck, okay? I just wanna show you guys a couple other things real quick when we get started. All right, guys, so I always tell you guys, make sure before you install anything, make sure everything works. So I'm about to show you real quick how they pretty much handcrafted everything, so it's a really, really easy hookup. Got my alligator claws right here for my battery hookup. Just give me 1 second. So we're gonna take this end of where the light bar positive and negative is, hook it up to the terminals here. Not those. These terminals, these spade terminals right here, these female ends of the spade terminals. I'm just gonna plug this in here real quick, just temporarily, nothing crazy. Okay, put that in there. Come on, don't move, don't move. Okay, so this is the switch right there, and these are the terminals right here that are connecting to the battery, the one with the rings on them. Okay, got negative, positive to positive, negative to negative. Okay, let's flick the switch. Shit is pretty bright. And that's really it. So now that we know the light bar works, look at the brightness on this thing. Ah, damn. So now that we know how it works, I'm gonna be mounting it on Bruce over here. I'm gonna show you, this is to the bottom of where this plastic grill is. There's many videos showing 42-inch light bars on this truck, and nobody has shown how to take this freaking piece off. So I'm about to show you that right now. All right, guys, I wanna show you why it's important to use the right wires, as I was speaking of before, when you're using anything that draws a lot of amperage. Look at this. This is starting to smoke. Why? Because the wire is too thin. You get what I'm saying? This wire here is nice and cool. The positive right here, it's freaking hot. I'm gonna shut this switch off fast. Also, I want you to hear something that I was talking to you about earlier. Watch this. You're gonna hear clicking. That clicking is when I connect power to this, because the light bar is on. That clicking is the electromagnet pulling the switch right here where 30 meets 87, pulling it closed in order to power the light bar. Okay, so that's what the clicking on and off is. So just to give you guys a little bit of working knowledge. All right, so let's get onto the car. All right, guys, a couple things to remember. My car has the air suspension in it, so make sure you put the air suspension all the way up and go into the settings and put it on tire jack mode so it doesn't feel like lowering itself while you're underneath the car. Okay, I'm not gonna jack this car up to do this, although it is kind of straining my neck, but it is what it is. Now, to get this piece off here real quick, you'll notice these tabs. You can, if you want, you could take a pry tool or a little screwdriver and just pry to the bottom, but this piece doesn't come, when you look at it from in front of the car, you think it's gonna come from the outside, but it's actually, it gets pulled out from the inside like this. Okay, so it gets pulled out from the inside, and then you gotta pass it through, okay, in order to get it out. All right, guys, I got my big light so you guys can see right here. I drilled a 9/16 hole in this bracket so it can go right here and get sandwiched in between the nut, and then just extend and connect this right here. Guys, make sure you measure and drill holes as you see fit. I'm not gonna tell you how to do that. That's just common sense. And make sure you're measuring that the light bar, like let's say you take this tip right here, this little dent right there, make sure the edge of your light bar is the same distance from here to here as it is on the other side. Okay, you want to make sure your measurements are good so your light bar looks at least dead center when you're looking at it from the front of your truck, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, so let me drill up the other bracket and I'll see you guys in a second. All right, guys, so I'm finished with the fabrication of the holes. The big one is a 9/16, the small is a 5/16. That's perfect with the step bit because, watch, the bolt fits perfectly in there. You get what I'm saying? So 9/16, 5/16. And I will be using this rubber padding for the bottom of the stands. Okay, it's just to act as a gasket. That's really it. So let's bolt this bad boy up. All right, guys, the mounting portion of it is done. I just got to tighten up the bolts. I will tell you that before you tighten everything up, make sure you mount everything. Okay, this is the other side here. Make sure you mount everything and move the bar accordingly. Let everything flex how it should, center it, and then you tighten everything up. Okay, so make sure you, before you tighten everything up, center everything, make sure it's dead center, make sure the light bar is dead center with the, you know, the line down the truck, and that's it. But, you know, I mean, that's a user interface, meaning that's up to you to do the right thing, you know, I mean, to make sure it's centered. Okay, so once everything is centered, I'm going to tighten everything up now, and then we jump to the wiring portion. All right, guys, everything is tightened up. I'll take this off soon. Food for thought. The cool thing about this, I want to show you, when you start threading the nut from the outside over here, they make this bracket in here precisely where the nut hits the bracket, so you don't have to kind of like, I guess, hold it down. So you could just thread it from the inside, and this portion, this fork portion, is holding down the nut, and you just have to pretty much balance the nut once it threads. You don't have to use like a socket or anything to hold the other side of it, and then you could just tighten it from the other side. Also, to make sure from the front, to make sure this bad boy is dead center, you can use these little Allen bolts over here. There's 21 Allen bolts in total. Get to number 11 and make sure number 11 is sitting dead center with the line of the truck, which mine is. That shit is dead center right there. Okay, so let's wire this bad boy up. All right, guys, so since the hard part is done, this is pretty much the easy part for me. So what I'm going to be doing is I am going to ground this relay to the body right here. Okay, then later on I'll connect the negative to negative, positive to positive. What I'm going to be doing is I have to pass this switch portion here through the firewall to come out on the other side in the cabin of the truck. And what I could do is, where I have those wires down there that's passed through, that's the exact passage I'm going to use. Now this is a little bit big, so if it can't fit, let me show you what I'm going to do real quick. So if that can't work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out like so and de-pin the prongs. Let me show you real quick. So this is what de-pinning the prongs looks like. You take like a small precision screwdriver, you press in there, and voila. So you press, what you have to do is this piece right here, you press that down and you can take it out from inside of this jacket. Okay, just remember the orientation of it: black, red, white. Obviously you're gonna mate it up to the other side like so, so you know the orientation. You'll mate it up to the other side so you can see the orientation of the side you did not de-pin. You get what I'm saying? So let me just do that real quick. Let me run this inside. All right, so last phase is where I'm gonna strip these wires, okay? and connect them to these two male spade terminals that they provided. Crimp it, join it up to this, add some dielectric grease on top of it to wick any moisture from the terminals, and just tie up the excess wire, and that's it. All right, guys, all nuts and bolts are tight. I secured the wire harness to this, I guess, part of the frame rail, it looks like. And I secured it well enough where, you know, I mean, it's high enough. I don't think, and you know, I mean, I'm going any type of high water, but I even tucked the electrical part right in here as well. So the front of it over here, it's sealed, so no water could get in from the front, so it's going to be dry in the back. Okay, and it's right under the beam as well, so whatever water comes down, obviously the hood is going to be closed, but I highly doubt this is going to get wet. So time to connect the battery terminals and then mount the switch. All right, fam, connections under the hood are complete. Let's just switch this bad boy on. Make sure it works. Switch lid up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's get this off. Oh yeah. Ah, now that's nice. That is nice. All right, hold on a sec. All right, guys, now that we're in the car, this is the last step. They even tell you on the instructions right here. It says, note, the 5-pin rocker switch connection is not complete yet. Please either select one of the following methods. So wiring method A, so this is exactly how it's gonna look on the back of it, what they're showing you right now. You got this red wire and you got the white wire. The red wire, if you hook it up to this bottom terminal right here, number 6, what happens is, I'm just gonna touch it and show you. See, the bottom LED light bar, the words light up. And if you switch it on, the top, the light bar icon and the words stay on. But now you switch it off, LED light bar is on, and that's gonna be on all the time. So I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that all the time. So now the white one, if I hook the white one up, this is what happens. Oh, by the way, pretend I didn't hook anything up and you switch it on. Notice the light bar icon to the top, that's lit. Switch it off, it's not lit. Now the white jumper, hook this jumper up to the bottom. And you switch it on, both LED light bar and the light bar icon is lit. So that is how I am gonna do it. So now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna use my 3M dual lock tape, stick it right here and mount it to the side of the dash. All right, guys, and that's all she wrote. So it's mounted to the side just like that. So I could just take my right hand, reach down to it if I want to, and it's using dual lock tape just like my brake controller right here. A video will be coming out on that soon. I just have to put it out. It's already done. And that's it. That is it. Oh, whatever wires you don't use on the jumpers, just tape up the end of it so that it doesn't touch anything and short anything out. And so now when I turn on my switch, both the light bar and LED light bar light up. When it's off, both are off. That's really it. Switch that bad boy on. And it works freaking fantastic. Shit is nice, really nice. All right, guys, so let's come back later and see how this bad boy looks at night. All right, guys, later on that night, we're back out taking a drive, going to a pretty, not overly dark street, but dark enough, and lights off. Dang. That is bright. I don't even know if the camera's doing this shit justice. This is wild. That's pretty damn bright. Wow. Anyway, guys, definitely like, subscribe, comment. I don't want to blind this guy. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you guys found this informational. And I will talk to y'all soon. Now that's bright. Take it easy.